Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing a team created by Unhelper, a trainer who recently hit Legend and Rank 1 in the world on the GO Battle League leaderboards. Now, this trainer built a team around Scizor. Obviously, Scizor is a one Pokemon wrecking ball, but there's a few typings it really doesn't like to see. So to round out the rest of the team, Unhelper used Acid Credilli and Azumarill to cover against Scizor's extreme weakness to fire. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and let's showcase this rank 1 in the world team in the Open Great League. Hopping into the first match, picking up a very nice lead, Scizor into Dedenne. As long as Scizor has at least one shield to work with, this matchup is very nice for Scizor, as Scizor's bullet punches just shred through Dedenne, even when Dedenne is able to boost up its defense. And that's because Scizor just gets to boost its attack right back up with the Trailblaze. Scizor will have to go down a shield to win the matchup, but will exit boosted, and Scizor's energy threatens everything in the meta. Opponent safe switches into Annihilate, hoping that I will throw energy, but I hold on to energy and instead send in Azumarill. Azumarill does win the 0-1 shield scenario versus Shadow Annihilate. Shadow Annihilate obviously can boost up its attack more and more, but after all these counters and a +1 Rage Fist, I will still survive. My opponent knows this and makes a really nice bait call, anticipating that I'm going to go for the Ice Beam. They no shield and will still hang on to make one final Rage Fist. My Azumarill is very close to an Ice Beam. They bring in Dedenne, and Dedenne is just going to get cleanly knocked out here. They just don't have the health remaining to survive this. In the back, it's going to be Superior. I intentionally don't throw the bubble there with Azumarill. Instead, I immediately switch into Shadow Scizor. The Night Slash is going to land. Opponent is forced to fire off their energy instantly. And from here, this is a very clear path to victory, as I did a lot of damage to that Superior, and now I can just send in Credilli. At this point in the match, I'm debating whether to just commit to the fast move farm down or whether to fire off the Rock Tomb. I decided to go for the Rock Tomb, just so that way my opponent's Vine Whips are going to be doing less damage in case I need to bubble down with Azu later on. But even with throwing the Rock Tomb, my opponent just gets too low too quickly, and we're able to take the game 1 win. We move to game number 2, and it's a terrible lead for Shadow Scizor leading into Quagsire. I'm expecting they're going to overfarm by 1, so I switch on 6 and I catch the Aqua Tail onto my Acid Credilli. This is a very nice catch for me. Opponent going to send out a Shadow Claw Golisopod. Golisopod playing to charge attack priority, hoping that this is going to knock out, but my Credilli will be able to hang on, and now I get to put a ton of pressure back onto the Golisopod. Golisopod, no shields, Rock Tomb does big damage, it's a simultaneous KO, and now it's a guessing game. I'm deciding that I'm going to bring in my Azumarill here. So when the clock hits 0, I send in Azumarill, they send in the Shadow Quagsire, and I should now be in a pretty nice spot. Obviously, Azumarill is going to do very nicely into the Quagsire. I still don't know what their third Pokemon is. I do now, it's Dedenne, and this game is over. I was going to say, if they have like a Typhlosion or something in the back, it's still losable, but they do not. They have Dedenne instead. I hold on to Azumarill's energy, and now Shadow Scizor will get to absolutely go off. Scizor is already 1 stage boosted, so I actually don't even have to throw a move here. Instead, I'm just going to go for a nasty Bullet Punch farm down. Dedenne trying to prevent that from happening, boost himself with a Parabolic Charge, but it's just too little, too late. Shadow Scizor, back-to-back Trailblazes loaded, down goes Shadow Quagsire, and that's game over. We move to the next match, Shadow Scizor versus a non-Shadow Jumpluff. Now, Jumpluff, I would definitely prefer to see the Shadow, just because obviously the Bullet Punches and Night Slashes add up quite a bit more. Usually the regular Jumpluff does not have Acrobatics, so I'm just going to end up no shield in this, assuming it's going to be the Aerial Ace, but it's the Acrobatics. I get absolutely rocked. And this game is probably just over before it started. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely catastrophic. I send in Credilli because this is my only ability to farm down, but I'm not going to farm down before they make another Acrobatics. So I'm just fully investing in Credilli. Credilli with 100 energy, down 2 shields, and they send in a Blastoise. This makes me think that Credilli can actually win this for me. The Rock Tomb bait is successful, I get the shield, and now I'm going for the Grass Knot. I want big damage, or I want that final shield. The Grass Knot lands, the switch into Azumarill, the catch of the Hydro Cannon, and the sneak of the bubble. We're going to get a nasty bubble down with the Azumarill, and I don't know what they had in back, because they just immediately resigned the match. We move to the next match, picking up a very bad lead, Shadow Scizor into Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz walls off Scizor's energy, so it's not a good spot to be. I'm going to bank a ton of energy and then get a catch onto Credilli. This is really good for me. I'm able to save energy on the Scizor, where hopefully it can be more useful elsewhere. In comes a Shadow Quagsire, and if you're on Acid with Credilli like I am, this matchup is actually kind of bad for the Credilli. My game plan here is just to go straight Grass Knot. I want to guarantee a shield from my opponent because I have so much stored energy on the Shadow Scizor. This is a charge attack priority tie. I'm going to decide to let this go, and then I can start to ramp up with Shadow Scizor. I'm going for the Trailblaze right away. This is double super effective damage. Opponent will commit the shield. I have to watch for a potential switch out here because I'm expecting if they're shielding, they're going to try and save the Quagsire. So I'm going to keep farming. Opponent tries to catch on to Mandibuzz. I get to bank so much energy on that Scizor and now just send in Azumarill. Azumarill more than happy to absorb whatever Mandibuzz is going to be throwing here. It is just going to be back-to-back Aerial Aces. Look to farm up just shy of 100 energy and then pick up the knockout with the Ice Beam. My opponent was able to save that Quagsire, so they still do have a pretty healthy Quagsire lurking. I will fire off the Ice Beam, down goes the Mandibuzz, and they should be sending in the Quagsire here, and they will. I get to the Play Rough, but I lose Charge Attack priority. It's going to be a Stone Edge coming out from the Quagsire. That will hit for some pretty significant damage. I just need Shadow Scizor energy to be good in the back. The Play Rough lands, Quagsire able to save itself on very low HP. In the back is Diggersby, and Shadow Scizor is about to feast. We are going to get to Trailblaze number 2. This one is boosted, so this is going to be good night to the Diggersby. Quagsire is getting farmed down as well, and despite a really tough lead, Shadow Scizor takes the win. And unfortunately, we have the same lead again in the next match. We cannot escape from these Mandibuzz. I feel that trying to catch after 7 is too obvious, so I go for the catch on 10, and it works in back-to-back games. So it seems that catch timing was pretty solid for me today. Mandibuzz gonna rebank some energy, and now they're gonna bring in their own Credilli. Considering I have a Azumarill in the back, I'm incredibly happy to bait out this Credilli. What I have to keep in mind now is the switch timers are very misaligned. My opponent had a move caught and they stayed in to rebank. So here I'm actually going to throw 2 and the move because I think Rock Tomb will put them into a range where 3 bullet punches can knock out. I switch in the Scizor, we get a nasty farm down, and now this Mandibuzz has energy, but they've already taken so much damage throughout the course of this game. Now the Scizor energy actually will threaten them. I Trailblaze first, now I'm going for the Night Slash. Anticipating that my opponent may consider shielding, they actually do decide to let it go, but Scizor can just go for a 1 shield farm down and exit with a ton of energy. They are going to go for the Aerial Ace. In the back is going to be Diggersby, and Diggersby, unfortunately, is not going to have a good day when it sees what I have in the back. I'm firing off the Night Slash. They're going to shield. I'm just going for Night Slash number 2. A boosted Night Slash will still inflict some solid damage. That ends up being a charge attack priority tie, and Azumarill will be able to very comfortably clean up this game. So I get to send in the Azumarill, and then it just doesn't matter what they throw. Azumarill energy is just much too good here, and my opponent is going to resign the match. And I do get to claim my 5-0 set, which takes me to 2920 ELO, which at the time of recording was number 13 in the entire world. We move to the next match, leading Shadow Scizor into Shadow Dusclops. Even though I'm a Night Slash user and they are a Ghost type, this matchup is actually not super fun for the Shadow Scizor, just because Dusclops is always able to outpace. Dusclops grabs an early shield, they save switch into Fortress. I'm going to bank a ton of energy and actually send in Azumarill. This might seem like a very odd play, as Azumarill has a very bad matchup into Fortress, but I'm basically just using it as a damage sponge because I don't really have a better option. I saved a bunch of energy on the Scizor. Unfortunately, the game was really stuttery when that Fortress got brought in there, so I'm not 100% sure on where Fortress's energy is at. Fortress is going to go for yet another Rock Tomb, and now they're going to switch into the Dusclops. Here, I think they're on 3, but they could be on 4 because their fast move animations didn't really show up for a little bit. I switch into the Scizor, and I am now going to be firing off this Night Slash. Night Slash is going to be shielded up. My opponent is going to undertap, and here, if they're on 4, I can farm down. If they're on 5, they're not, and I think I can't take the risk. In hindsight, I think they were on 4, and I could have farmed down here, but in the moment, I wasn't quite sure, so I decided to play it safe. And I think that is actually going to cost me in this game, because now they can just shield and farm me down. They're going to exit with energy, and them having energy is a pretty big problem. In the back, they have Credilli. Wait, this might still be winnable. Obviously, it would have been a free win if I just farmed down the Dusclops with the Scizor, but I think this is still doable. Credilli, I just need to try and get to back-to-back moves. Opponent is going to fire off the Rock Tomb. I can obviously knock out at any point, but I want to leave with the back-to-back moves here. I know that I'm not going to get knocked out by any one move. They're going to go for the Grass Knot. I will survive, and I get the double up. This is a -1 Grass Knot, but it will be able to pick up the KO. In comes the Fortress, and today I learned Fortress wins charge attack priority over Credilli. It's a close CMP tie, but unfortunately, it's not a winning one for the Credilli. I was playing that battle assuming that it won cap, but unfortunately, it loses cap, and that lost me the game. Shadow Scizor versus a Fury Cutter Golisopod in the next match. This is a pretty nice spot to be as the Shadow Scizor, because in the twos, you can just brute force your way through their entire health bar. Opponent is going to be returning fire with the Aqua Jet, and I'm very happy to commit the shield, and then just look to spam out these Night Slashes as soon as I get them. Nice catch by my opponent, able to catch onto Mandibuzz, one of the few walls to Scizor energy, but unfortunately for Mandibuzz, I can now just rebank a ton of energy, bring in Azumarill, and Azumarill is going to do such a nice job at shutting down Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz will be forced to fire off Aerial Ace, its weakest charge move, and my goodness, does it ever look weak against the Azumarill. Another Aerial Ace comes out from the Mandibuzz. Again, Azumarill very comfortable tanking that. I'm going to farm up just shy of 100, and then just look to pick up the knockout with the super effective Play Rough. Play Rough lands into the Mandibuzz, picking up the KO. In the back is Unova Stunfisk. And Unova Stunfisk, I feel like I'm in a pretty nice position here. I get to fire off the Ice Beam. That's going to do some quality damage onto the Stunfisk. Stunfisk can go for the Discharge, but Discharge will not knock out from this health range. I know that I can survive here. I'm going to go for the Play Rough, anticipating a potential catch onto the Golisopod, but they do not go for it. The Play Rough is still going to pick up the knockout. In comes the Golisopod, and I can just bring back in the Scizor. Scizor will get to fire off the Night Slash. They're going to no shield, and I can just farm down with resisted bullet punches to take the win. Shadow Scizor versus Shadow Quagsire. This is a very bad lead for the Shadow Scizor, as Scizor just gets outpaced. I'm again going to go for the catch on 6, and I get it once again. You absolutely love to see it. My opponent, however, is going to stay in here. They're rebanking the energy. That means they have a very good check to Credilli, and they do as Tinkaton hits the field. This is going to be a very difficult game to win. That Quagsire energy is going to feel almost impossible to get rid of. My opponent knows they're not threatened by my moves whatsoever. What I have to hope for is the desync and switch timers potentially saving me. I know that at -2 attack, no one move is going to knock me out here. So my thought process here is I can bank a move and then send in Azumarill. This is normally a bad matchup, but they're at -2, and I'm in a range where I can knock them out with a Play Rough. They throw the Play Rough to burn the switch timer, and in the back, they have Shadow Pidgeot. Shadow Pidgeot going to take some pretty significant damage from the Ice Beam, but importantly, Ice Beam will not knock out. Pidgeot is going to commit the shield, and they just continue to farm. I do survive an Air Cutter, but a Rogue Brave Bird getting launched through 2 shields would pick up the knockout, so I commit the shield, I get the shield call right, and now I will get to fire off the Ice Beam. Ice Beam is going to knock out the Pidgeot. That -3 defense means they're getting KO'd. In comes Tinkaton. I try and get to the Play Rough, and unfortunately I'm unable to get there. Tinkaton will go for a Play Rough of their own, picking up the KO. In comes the Quagsire, and this is going to be such a tough game to win. I decide to call it. It is the Aqua Tail, and now I go for the Trailblaze. I'm anticipating that they're just going to blind throw, anticipating my snipe attempt, so I stay in, and I shouldn't have stayed in. I should have just sniped, because now I'm going to be too low on the Scizor. I'm forced to burn the shield, and I just threw this game. I completely overthought it, and that's going to cost me dearly, as now Tinkaton is going to take the win. Tinkaton can even just fire off a move at the Credilli because I don't have the health remaining on the Scizor because I took that mud shot. That was a really tough game to win, but I think if I play it better, there are win cons. Great lead in the final match, leading into a Wigglytuff. A bonus save switches into Gastrodon. I stay in with the Scizor to chip with the Night Slash. If they no shield, it makes the matchup versus Azu very easy. If they shield, then I'm just up a shield. Not only that, I catch a Body Slam that they throw on alignment. To be honest, seeing someone run Wigglytuff plus Mud Slap throw on alignment is not a surprise whatsoever. They are going to be firing off the Earth Power now, but Azumarill just does not care. Azumarill going to go for the Play Rough. Play Rough will not knock out, but it's going to get them deep into the red. Gastrodon barely able to hang on. They do get bubbled down, And now I do actually want to pivot out of here. I'm going to save the move, anticipating it could be a Diggersby in the back, and then just pivoting into my Credilli. Credilli, very happy to either threaten a shield or deal big damage onto the Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is going to switch, and in the back is Bastiodon. This is a bit of a weird play pattern from my opponent. They never should have let me throw the move from Credilli onto the Wigglytuff. They should have brought in the Bastiodon. Either way, I still don't think that they were going to win, but the way that they've played it here, there's just no ability for them to win because of their misplays in this game. Now I can send in the Scizor. Scizor gonna start ramping up with Trailblaze. Let's see how much damage we can get these bullet punches to do. The Trailblaze is gonna be shielded by the Bastiodon. In comes the Wigglytuff, and they're just getting deleted by bullet punches. I will commit the shield as they go for the Swift, get a farm down, and now I should be able to make a +1 Trailblaze into the Bastiodon. While this will not be enough to knock out, I did save a move earlier on my Azumarill, so I will get to fire off the player up with the Azumarill. I debated here switching into the Credilli and going for the asset farm down, but I figured I may as well just take the win with the Azumarill. Let's just get the win on the board. We don't have to go for any BMs, so we bubble down the Bastiodon and take the win. All in all, I think this is a very solid climbing team if you're looking to gain elo before the leagues rotate in a few short days. Obviously, big congratulations to Helper for making it to #1 in the world and one of the first, I believe the second legend of the entire season with this team. Shadow Scizor, I mean, what can be said that hasn't already been said? It's just an absolute terror. I love when they buff really glassy mons and turn them into incredibly powerful picks, and that's exactly what they've done here with Scizor. I also absolutely love the addition of Azumarill on this team. Azumarill, obviously, it's arguably the greatest Pokemon Go competitive Pokemon of all time. I would say it's in a downswing right now, as it's not as dominant as it once was, just due to the fact that in its heyday, it was the #1 used Pokemon by an absolute mile. Even though it may not be at its strongest point ever, I still think it does have quite a bit of play. A lot of teams are building weak to it. We've seen a lot of Unova Stunfisk plus Flyer Cores, and Ice Beam hits both of those Pokemon for super effective damage. We also saw quite a few Mandibuzz as well, and Mandibuzz, it's so good in this meta, but is very helpless into that Azumarill. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.